We are back with you today, and we are excited to be with you. We are kicking off a 3-week series, and I'm going to tell you that I believe this is for you. This is for you because we are going to talk about taking the emotion out of it when the results won't come. I don't know about you, but I have a feeling you've had yourself in a scenario before. I know I have, where you feel like you're genuinely trying your hardest. You're doing all that you can, or you like want to believe that you're doing all that you can, and yet the results just are not coming. And in our industry, we see this a lot with people who come on. For some of you today, I'm probably talking to some of you who have just joined us, and you're new. And there's this kind of strong learning curve when you go to start something new. It's like learning a new language, and it comes slow in the beginning. So a lot of people are out there making dials, maybe even run appointments, and they are just watching all these other producers fly by them and make money with ease, and they're wondering, what is wrong with me? And the reality is, when you're sitting there and you're doing that work day in and day out and you're not getting the results, oftentimes your emotions creep in. The emotion of, I'm terrible at this, or this isn't working, or you just feel this overall like hopelessness. And that emotion leads you to make a poor choice. And what happens is it drives you away from the activity that is going to help you get the result. So we're human, right? So what we do is we go and we watch TV, or we go and we drink too much, or we go and we decide I'm just going to go hang out with my friends and not face the problem. I love Gary Vee because it's one of my favorite quotes that Gary Vee has, is if we would just spend as much time and energy solving our problems versus escaping our problems, think of what we could do.
Goodness.
So we're going to do a 3-part series talking to you today. It's those of you that are brand new working at something. It's those of you, sometimes you get started and you're doing great, and then you hit a slump, especially in sales. You salespeople or business owners out there, a lot of you that have been at this a long time, you know what it's like to ride high and do well. But then maybe you also know what it's like to go through a slump. And we're going to talk to you today too. We're also talking to those of you out there maybe who are not in our industry, but you know what it's like, or you're in the process of starting something new. You're not getting the results that you want, and you feel so disappointed that you really just want to run. So we're going to give you some better options over these next 3 weeks. And today we're going to start with option number 1 of what you can do to remove the emotions when the results won't come.
Talk to someone who's been there and can show you a way out. Whew, I see so many agents come on board in our industry. I won't be specific with the Fitz Group, but in our industry, and they get a set of leads, they make some dials, they don't make any sales, and they go, this doesn't work. And honestly, back in 1999, I was sort of in the same boat, right? I can't say I was that much different. But the problem was, for me, was I saw success around me. I saw other people doing it, and that's what messed me up. Because so the first set of leads I ever got, I got my insurance license. It took me a week to get my license. I got these leads. I swear they were about 10 years old. These pieces of paper and cards. It was I don't know, some dog had chewed on these things, and you pick them up, the stack of leads I got, and you go, whew, and you could just blow the dust off of them, and they were that old. And I called them. My first appointment, I called this guy and this couple. I ended up meeting them in a bar, and he was there. And so for 45 minutes, I'm explaining to him insurance, and then she shows up, and we'd also had a beer or two, and then she shows up, and I had to explain it again. Of course, I had another beer or two for happy hour. I didn't make a sale and had a slight buzz. May have had a problem. That wasn't good. That was not a good situation. And I honestly thought, this doesn't work. They told me, I was told all I had to do was get this lead and call them up and go see them, and I'd be fine. And that's what I was told. And it just wasn't true. And so then I ended up getting in my car with a couple of buddies, and we drove up north about an hour from where we lived in North Carolina and sat down with somebody who had 20 years of experience in the industry, had a system that he followed for sales, and we sat down with him and really had him teach us what we needed to do in order to make sales. And listen, I want to say my first phone call, boom, I made $1 million, but that's not exactly what happened. I remember my first after that, and I got I bought another set of leads. But now I was equipped with some training. I was equipped with how to make the phone call. I was equipped with how to run the appointment. And so I made my first phone call, and I got cussed out. Like, okay. And then I made my second phone call, and I got hung up on, like, multiple times because I called them back. And that's when I looked at you, and it's kind of an infamous story in the Fitz group now, but I looked over at you, and I was like, tears were in my eyes. I'm going, I got to go get a regular 9-to-5 job. This commission-only insurance, self-employed entrepreneur world is just not going to work for me. And you said, make one more phone call. And I did. And that was Otis and Dorothy. And it was like I had sent them a script and they knew what to read when I was pausing. And I mean, and that first set, that real first set of leads ended up being 10 leads. I made 7 sales out of that. But it would not have happened if I hadn't paused for a second and went and talked to this guy who had proven track record in the industry, and a system by which I could follow to go out there and make the same sales. And as they say, the rest is history. From there, it just took off.
Yeah, I think that the question is, who do you call, right, when you need somebody to talk to, and making that right choice of calling a mentor or someone who's been in the business.
Absolutely.
But here's also another important point, that when you're calling a mentor, it's very important that you tell the whole story, that you give the details.
Yes.
Because a mentor can only be as effective to help you through what you're walking through based upon what they know.
Yeah.
And so sometimes when you fail to give all the information, you can fail to get the advice back that you need.
Absolutely.
But I will say, so another, if you don't feel like or if you feel like I have talked to a mentor or I don't have a mentor, I would say another place you could turn if you're looking for who do I call is what we would call a mastermind group. Now, that's a technical term that most likely your inner circle, you probably rarely call them your mastermind group. But just think about that for a minute. Who are the people around you that have been successful, who are encouraging to the goals that you're chasing? Maybe, like I know in the Fitz group community, you have a team of people around you that you can tie into. Now, here's the power of talking to close, trusted friends. Is sometimes when you call that mentor to tell them the whole story, what you don't know sometimes what you don't know. Because you're telling this for what's happening, how you're making dials, how you're interacting with a client. You're telling those stories from your perspective that you've been walking them out. No one is observing you perhaps do that.
Right.
But when you put yourself around a group of people and you begin to hear about their experiences, what they're doing, what choices do they make when they get disappointing results, what is a disappointing result exactly, what should my expectations be, all of a sudden you're able to see a little more clearly what maybe you don't know that you don't know. Because the famous saying does go, what you don't know can hurt you. So this is why it's so important to get around a team of people to identify who that team is. And so when you find yourself in that really dark moment of this is not working and I really just want to escape, instead of escaping to something that is going to hurt you and rob you from your results, escape to people who care about you and are going to help you get back on track.
Yeah, and we do, inside the Fitz group, we have weekly team calls and that sort of thing. And, one of the things that I found for me incredibly helpful in that mastermind group, team group concept there is getting around other people while they were working, right? If I am disappointed with the results that I'm getting, like you said, I can withdraw and just go, it didn't work, and go badmouth this company to another company, and then on and on and on. The track record continues. Or I could say, you know what? I hear about these people that make these sales and supposedly making all this money. I'm going to go get around the group. And it is an amazing dynamic that takes place. Yes, when one-on-one, that's great, and you're talking to a mentor, that's great, but when there's like 4 or 5 people in a room together making dials, and you're listening to each other making dials, I know in our office, Jason Bruno and I both are doing interviews of potential new agents, and I know he hears me and picks up on stuff, and he uses that in his interviews. And you know what? I taught him how to do it, but I hear him say stuff, and I pick up on it. I go, ooh, I like that. I'm going to say that next time, and that's a good way to describe that. It's an amazing synergy that takes place when you're surrounded by an abundance of work happening at the same time. So you may be disappointed with your results, but you look up on the board and see that, well, hey, Chris just booked 4 appointments in the last hour. My gosh, I can do that too. The numbers owe me now. And the more evidence there is, the harder it is to run from it. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And that's the power of having that mastermind or team. Mm-hmm. Anything to add?
Well, here in the Fitz Group community, when you're looking for that mastermind group, the first place I encourage you to start is in your agency manager call, because that place is it's designed for you to be seen and known. And I just challenge you today to contribute in some way on that call this week. Get on there, talk about your struggle of maybe you are running to the wrong escapes. Why don't you share about that and talk about it? Or if you've had a great week of dials and appointments, get on there and share with the team. Contribute, make a connection, and watch yourself grow.
I'd also say get around a mentor, get around good counsel.
Yes.
One of the ways you can do that here at the Fitz Group, if you're part of our community, timewithfitz.com. It sounds like it's just for me, but it's everybody on staff has a calendar, and there's opportunities. Maybe you want to talk to somebody about this or somebody about that, different topics, different things, but everybody here has been doing this a long time, and we can certainly help pull you through whatever muck you feel like you're stuck in. Muck that you're stuck in.
Muck.
I like that. Muck
yes,
stuck.
Yes, we are here for you.
Yeah. Hey, now that you know,
you know.